Good morning, everybody, again. For the second time in 2 weeks, the U.S. has lost an unmanned spy plane over Iraq. Iraq claims it shot down the remote-controlled Predator aircraft near Basra.
Extensive coverage in this hour. There is something in the air.
And everybody loves Raymond. Watch it flying out here on American Airlines.
Tonight, 3 numbers that could save your life. 911.
Perfect fall morning. Although it's not fall yet, so it's still a perfect summer morning.
Other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet.
The idea of putting subliminal messages into ads it's ridiculous.
$9? This one's on me.
All we know is it had something to do with the Twin Towers.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
World Trade Center. I'm going to crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
Nobody in our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes into buildings.
In the 2 years before the attacks on September the 11th, NORAD conducted exercises using hijacked airliners as weapons. And one target was the World Trade Center.
Until the Twin Towers come crumbling down.
Indicting the entire government as usual. Fact. A small fact.
Whether you had advanced knowledge of 9/11.
It's an absurd insinuation.
Ready? Yes, plane. Get ready. Mud. Yes. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal.
The smartest thing to do is pull it.
They told us beforehand.
What's he trying to say to us? Definitely communicating in our language, leaving clues, forensic clues at that. Maybe he's trying to share the responsibility of these murders with us. If we don't figure out the clues in time, the blood's on our hands. And if we don't find the victim in time, we're as responsible for the murders as he is. Maybe he's trying to share the responsibility of these murders with us. If we don't figure out the clues in time, the blood's on our hands. Maybe he's trying to share the responsibility of these murders with us. If we don't figure out the clues in time, the blood's on our hands. And we're as responsible for the murders as he is. Maybe he's trying to share the responsibility of these murders with us. If we don't figure out the clues in time, the blood's on our hands. If we don't figure out the clues in time, the blood's on our hands.
You can find all these full videos on TommyTruthful.com. Check this out.
All of this. He had this crazy idea about breeding pine trees.
At the beginning of the movie, the mall Marty meets Doc at is Twin Pines Mall. After Marty goes back in time, runs over one of the twin pine trees, he comes back to the future and it's now Lone Pine Mall. Seriously, that is a giant metal sign that the art department had to make twice, then keep track of it for continuity based on which scene they were in. All for a visual joke most people missed.
Now what will it take for us to get that videotape? The end of the world.
I think you'll agree in that 9/11/2001 was one of the most Hollywood-esque, larger-than-life events that played out on all of our TV screens across the whole world. It's something that we'll never forget. I think most of us can even remember where we were when we found out about what happened and what was going on. I'm sure it doesn't surprise most that are in the truth-seeking community in this time that 9/11 was a satanic ritual. Coming to that conclusion from many different angles, from many different ways, all leading to the same truth, that it was in fact representing the birthing of the new age of Antichrist, the ripping the veil, the bringing in of the beast police state system, and all manner of things, but also a blood sacrifice ritual into the wine press, Samson pushing down the two pillars. But this all correlates to what we've been looking into in the last video, and what we've been looking into in regards to the cube behind the veil. It all links in together, and in this video we're going to have a look again through Solomon's temple, Herod's temple, how this all correlates to Jesus Christ when he died and rose again, and the veil was ripped in that temple to reveal the cornerstone that was behind the veil. And this all links together with 9/11 and many different things. So let's have a look at this. So 9/11 2001 IXXI, many believe, or some believe, that Jesus himself was born on 9/11 3 BC, which is pretty interesting because 9/11 2001 is an inversion of that 9/11 2001 3 AD. But this event, this horrific event that happened on 9/11 2001, we've discussed this before in terms of the two pillars, like Samson pushing down the two pillars, north and south, plus and minus, just like the pillars in Freemasonry, Yashin and Boaz, plus and minus. So the male and female, the parents, and just like that Samson figure pushing it down in the Bible. And then you've got the child here, which in terms of what we're looking at the moment, as I say, there's many different ways of understanding the nature of this satanic ritual, because there's many different paths and roads that lead to the same conclusion. But the World Trade Center 7 representing that cornerstone. Now remember, Jesus Christ is our true cornerstone, and this all involves inverting. It's to do with the Antichrist. They're trying to bring in, they're trying to open the pit, they're trying to bring in the Antichrist and the age of the Antichrist. So that involves smashing this cornerstone, as per usual, smashing this stone. So just to put it very simply, this is exactly what we're looking at when we look at that. We're looking at the figure pushing down the two pillars and the veil breaking, just like when Jesus died on the cross and the veil was rent, and the cube collapsing, the cornerstone collapsing behind the veil. Now, G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. So that is exactly what that's representing there, including the generative principle. But you see how when these pillars come down, collapsing the cube, the cornerstone, G equals 7, building 7, and then rebuilding into a new tower, which would be the transfigured third temple, but of the material world. Because when Jesus Christ defeated the curse, ripped the veil in, and defeated death and sin, which is, we'll go into in another video how we see the truth of the gospel through this. He rose again in the true third temple. Jesus Christ is the temple of the living God. He rose again out of the curse of sin and death. The grave could not hold him, and he rose again and became our true third temple. And when we're in the body of Christ, we are safe in our Father's hands. So that G, as we looked before, the Tesseract, the game cube, is to do with portal. Remember, ripping the fabric of time and space. And it's all represented, as I've shown before, here and here again, the two towers with that G in the center, bringing in Lucifer, opening the window, and 9/11 being a sacrifice into the wine press, level 7 in the womb, the wine press, and the blood of the innocent as they always do in these satanic rituals, into the wine press. So essentially we're looking at this figure here, Samael, Samson, son of Samael, son of Satan, pushing down these two pillars. You see, this is the Freemasonic G, the square and the compass that he's standing in between and pushing down the two pillars. And of course, building 7 was collapsed. So he was, you remember the story of Samson, when he pushed down the pillars, he was killed. So that would be the same kind of allegory there. The bringing down that and rising into a new tower, rising into a new transfigured tower. The One World Trade Center. And this is what it's all about, IXXI. IXXI is 9/11 in Roman numerals. And look what is in the center of IXXI. It's a hexagon, which is a 3-dimensional cube. And that's what it was all about. It was a direct inversion of when Jesus Christ died on the cross and the veil was rent. This is exactly an inversion. See, that World Trade Center 7, the collapse, the smashing of the cornerstone, a direct inversion of Christ, this is what they're representing, you see. It's the same as the breaking of the egg, the split cracking open of the egg, and the rising of the son of Lucifer. You see what's in the center there. It's about portals, it's about opening the womb, it's dimensional, it's ripping the fabric of time and space. Bringing down the two pillars of our society in many different ways. Remember, all of these have different layers of meaning, because the spiritual is incredibly deep, and it doesn't just kill one bird, it kills multiple birds with one stone, cracking open the egg, that cube. And this being XX, which is the seal of Saturn, and the compass draws the circle, and this is a square, that's time and space. This is all about bringing down the reality in which we live, essentially, and rebuilding into their new Age of Horus Luciferian age that they're trying to desperately to bring in. Remember, 9/11 happened just after the millennium. It happened in 9/11/2001. Just after the big hype about the millennium. You see the way that this works? You see the way that Satan is constantly copying, counterfeiting, and the way that Satan is constantly desperate. Well, this is what it's all about, because Jesus Christ, when he died on the cross, he cracked through time and space, because he died on the sword in the stone. He cracked through time and space. There was an earthquake, and people came out of their graves. And you see, when he died and rose again, it was a huge victory over Satan's kingdom, and as such, they are desperately trying to get out of what they are stuck in. They are stuck in the womb, in the matrix, and all of this is contributing over these years, over these end times, as things build up and build up. You see the society changing, doubly each year, doubly, triply, you know, just really changing. This is all a process this is all a process of the beast coming upon the earth. This is all a process of the matrix coming upon the earth.
This full video is over on TommyTruthful.com under the Shortening of Days Plasma Apocalypse. Truthful out.